Well, someone with some remote kind of intelligence is responding, and it's here in Florida. The drones are here. Yep, they're going down the coast. Now, I want to share with you, I'm going to talk about this in this video because if you've watched my other videos, this is right in alignment with what's happening. I told you, put on your seatbelt because there's going to be some very odd, strange, bizarro things going on, and this is one of them. You can't even guess this stuff, right? Is it bad? No, it's not. It's just strange. And there's always something behind all of this stuff. I'm going to talk about that today because we have to shift into something that actually takes charge of this world. And it's going to be an amazing one. Now, we're going to talk about the Florida drones and something that one of our sheriffs said that I thought was right on target and exactly what I said in the last video. And it has to do with what our military. You can't blame Trump for this. He's not even in office. But there is something about that military that we want to discuss because other things are going to take place. And we need to pay attention. You ready for this? This is going to be just entertaining. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. It's 80 degrees here, and it's almost Christmas 2024. This is going to be old real quick. Hey, guess what? We got drones down here. Whoop, whoop. They're only at night. What's up with that? So I'm going to read something here in just a moment, a quote from our sheriff down here. And it's almost identical to what I said in my last video about the truth about these drones. What is the truth? That of course the government knows what they are. Of course they're being allowed. The fact that there were no fighter jets on these things, people are like, fighter jets, blah, blah. Hello, they put fighter jets if there's a goofy bird flying around here in the wrong space. Seriously, this is what they do with their $800 billion. What is that for? There are things going on that we don't know, and I'm not going to go into conspiracy because this channel is about empowerment and us taking control of a world that's going to be amazing, is already happening. I want you to understand this because we have wonderful things happening. Why? Because we're coming out of fear. We're breaking through fear. Read the book. Everything I teach is don't look at things as negative, bad, controlling. We're in a prison planet. Know that everything's intentional. Opportunities, challenges, tests, teachings. Everything's an opportunity for you to take it to wherever you want. And this is an individual choice. The world doesn't have control over you. You could sit in bliss and they could go to hell in a handbasket. That's how it works. That's how powerful you are. Why? Because you control this here, and it actually creates out here, so you will actually see things differently. We're going to talk about that today. Let's start with, first of all, of course, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. I think it's over here. And for those of you, and this is so important, we're going to talk about this today. Those of you who really want to take charge of this coming period of time that is so pivotal and so important in our planet's history can actually start to manifest things you never imagined possible, no matter what your background, no matter what you came from, no matter your education, money, it doesn't matter. Everything is possible. You have to know this. Know it is done. Ye are all God's. These things you shall do and more. We're starting to recognize Christ didn't say that for kicks. He meant it. You can walk on water. We don't need to walk on water. Let's enjoy the material world that we have, respect it, and treat it equally, especially our nature and one another. We're going to come into unity. How do we do that when this craziness is happening? Well, there are two ways to go into this. One of them is we get sucked into the distraction. I mean, this stuff's going on like, whatever, we're just going to do what we want. And of course, we get into these arguments. No, somebody said they're sniffing drones, they're sniffing out some kind of weapons that were sent over here from the Ukraine. I'm like, seriously? In New Jersey? It would be tough to hide anything there. It's not a big place. Come on, people, let's not make stuff up. We don't know, but we do know one thing, and that is, of course, there is knowledge. Of course, our government knows exactly what it is, and they're not telling us. So I'm going to read this article in a moment, but before I start, I want to share something with you, because this is part of the taking charge that you can do. And I'm going to share that later on in the video also about what we're actually doing here that's going to take us into something amazing. And it doesn't matter what the craziness is. There's going to be a lot more of this weird stuff going on. All right? Don't go into fear. Don't go into fear. Experience it. Enjoy it. It's entertaining. All right? Hey, if we get blown up, if we go to hell in a handbasket, you're eternal. You'll go off into something really amazing, but if you're in fear, you'll stay in a low frequency and you will experience that. And this is when people say that there are different levels of there when they go outside of their bodies. Why? They're connecting to the very frequency that they are. So we have to raise that frequency, peeps. Hey, entrepreneurs, you want to make an impact on the planet? We cannot make a difference out there and start to take charge of that world out there that we want. We're not going to impose it on other people like other institutions do. We're going to create our own. This is what's happening right now. Don't get distracted. Digital Explorers, I'm teaching entrepreneurs, you don't have to have any experience. You don't have to know what you want to do. I'm teaching people how to create planet conscious businesses. We actually find out what that is. We create multiple income streams. You should be earning doing something you love that brings great value to the planet. Now, I'm going to read you something from our sheriff. And honest to God, I'm right in alignment with him. Let's go. All right, this is from Sheriff Rick Bradshaw here in Palm Beach County, Florida. Mystery drones are U.S. stealth tests, not ordinary craft, as mysterious drones appear across the country, including Florida. Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw says they're likely U.S. government stealth drones being tested, calling the government silence fuel on the fire. Wouldn't you think these guys talk to each other? No, they don't. So these are not store-bought deals. You don't buy these kind of drones that are the size of this table at the local store. They're very expensive. I know, we have some. So they're not commercial deals, said Bradshaw. The White House, however, insists these are all legal commercial or private drones, just going about their business. What business is that? Bradshaw doesn't believe it and doesn't understand why the government doesn't reveal the truth. Why not just be honest and say, here's what we know? Because nobody's buying this. We don't know. Nobody's, said Bradshaw. Bradshaw believes there's stealth drones being tested in a certain pattern in the Northeast, being launched near the ocean and then flying to places they've been spotted. They're testing stealth drones, and that's the area they're testing it. However, there's one fact that gives him pause. It's curious that it's only at night. If they wanted to test them, they could test them during the daytime. And they obviously don't want anybody to see them up close, because if a manned aircraft gets close, then they turn the lights out, said Bradshaw. Interesting. The lack of real explanation also has Martin County Sheriff William Snyder concerned. I'll tell you this, if there was a large military-grade drone flying over Martin County, I'd be beside myself if I couldn't figure it out. I would just be absolutely apoplectic if my community were subject to that, said Snyder. Right? Safety first. Bradshaw says while the government likely knows what these are, its silence is only adding to the speculation. This could go away just like this. Just say it's something we're testing. We know who it is. It's the military, but it's top secret, so we can't tell you. Okay, said Bradshaw. Snyder says if the government doesn't come up with a good explanation soon, it's not going to go over well. This may be inexplicable, and I think if they don't have a good explanation yet, the administration will absolutely have egg on their face, said Snyder. Bradshaw, who is in charge of helping the Secret Service protect President-elect Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago, said he's not worried about any drones flying over that airspace or Trump's Palm Beach County golf courses. If you get into that airspace, there's 2 F-18s. They'll be up there in a second, said Bradshaw. I rest my case. What does that tell you? Of course they know. No fighter jets on these things, a helicopter in New Jersey. We went up there to see, what it was, but we felt like we were in danger. Oh boy, I'm glad you're, taking care of us. Really? A few people in a helicopter and you got all of New Jersey and you're going to take care of yourselves? No, you know what it is? They were called down. They were told to get out of there. Why? Because government already knows what it is. And also the other thing is that helicopter and any number of craft could find out where they're going back to. Maybe they don't know where they came from, which is hard to believe. These things are big. These are not, regular drones that individuals own. Where are they going back to? They have been told, everyone in law enforcement has been told not to follow these things, or they would be up there with copters all over the place. Trust me on this. This is not like, oh, the FBI's on. If the FBI's on it, why didn't we have fighter jets up there, right? Fighter jets could follow those babies. They could be on it. Peeps. Stop the conspiracy. It's our government. And as, the sheriff said, they're stealth. They're testing them at night. Why? They just don't want to be seen. Obviously, they're being seen, but they don't want to be seen on the level that daylight would, expose them to be. What are they preparing for? What is that about? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this opportunity to take charge of what you're thinking and believing, because we're going to get more tests. Do you go into fear? Do you go into fear and feel like you're being controlled and manipulated and you go into the conspiracies and stuff? Or are you going to shift over and say, we've got a whole world we can create. No matter what happens out there, we are no longer, no, what is it? They're looking at 101 stupid stories, and I'm sorry, some of them are pretty stupid. But funny. Our government, they're not idiots. They're totally in control of everything. They know everything that's going on. They know what I'm saying. They know what you're saying. So what are we going to do? We are not going to go into any kind of conflict or separation. We are going to create a world of unity and love and community, because no one can stop us from doing that, and nor do they want to stop us. It doesn't matter. They're not here to destroy us. They're just here to protect their own interests. And if we are not scrambling and fighting them for it, then there's no conflict. If we're creating our own simple, happy lives, and by the way, you can still be abundant. We don't have to be broke, out with, living off the grid and not taking showers. That's not off the grid anymore. We've got a whole new way of living, and we can live simpler. You can live in Florida. You can live wherever you are. You can live in the city and live a simpler, cleaner life. It starts with you, and there's 101 ways to do that. Just focus on it. That's all you have to do. You will be shocked at the events and the things that are going to happen to you. Now, you guys have seen, I've had a series of events. It's been nonstop. It's been nonstop for me. Why? Because I shifted into something completely different, and so can you. But if you get in the way with these thoughts and stories, this low-level 3D world in the basement, that the world controls you, it controls nothing. You are creating it. I know it's tough to believe that. If you don't believe it, then you'll stay in a world that controls you. You'll sit and argue. Some of you guys are addicted to this. You love it. You love these conversations. You love to criticize people. You love to judge people. That's fine, but does that make you feel good? It feels so much better to see the beauty in others, right? You may not agree with other people. You don't have to insult them. Just understand the diversity of our planet. How we look, what we believe is what makes it so amazing. It's the conflict and you need to think what I do that causes struggle and pain. Let's end it. How do we work together? But we're actually looking at life differently. And I think it's because we're feeling, and I don't know if you are, we're feeling that something big is happening, not will happen. We've talked about events before. We've gone through all of that, the tipping point. It's happening right now. And if you're not feeling it, the only thing that's stopping you from connecting to that existing space, that powerful, beautiful space. There's a light here in the room that's so beautiful. It's so loving and unconditional. You have to connect with it. You have to raise up to the frequency to know it even exists. And if you think it doesn't, ask yourself where you are. Dial into a different channel. And that means letting go of all these other things and this conflict and pointing fingers. The government is not our enemy. They are the people we've put in power who think in the old world style. That's it. And we're expecting them to act differently. Or you should do this, you should do that. We're like, no, they're doing exactly what we chose. So how do we change that? We have to take control of our own behavior, our own lives, and you can create a beautiful one, an abundant, healthy one. So I want to share something with you guys. I launched a new channel called Chic Sustainability. I'll put that link, I'll put it somewhere here. We don't go into this, the conversations I have here, but what I do over there is I'm sharing more and more. You guys know that you can go to my store and buy sustainable products, support small businesses that are making those products. You'll find out ways to heal yourself. You'll find out ways how to be sustainable and have a beautiful material world. You don't have to be, in poverty to be spiritual. So every morning I'm giving you this one thing. That's a video over there. Every morning before I get on my computer, there's proof that this works. I look at the sun, just indirectly, morning sun when the sun is low and just rising, to get that red light in. We have to start balancing our physical body and getting it ready for what's happening out there. Our DNA is firing off. And this is true, by the way. Studies. We'll talk more about this. There's no junk DNA. It's sitting there dormant. It's activating. And only you can activate it. And that comes with higher thoughts of love and community, giving, and everything you give, you receive. So if you're putting out a negative thought, you will participate in that. I'm participating in changes that may appear negative because letting go and change can feel negative. So when you see these things going on in the world, and there could be crazy stuff, they're not threatening at all. They're not threatening at all. So don't tell the stories. Don't be spreading the stories. Don't be making them up. And maybe you want to stop believing the stories. Because if you really had the answers, you'd disappear probably. Right? We don't want that. I want you to stick around for a while. You don't need to know all the facts. Let them do their crazy stealth stuff. And let's you and I just enjoy this bizarre time period, because we're going into the golden era. Now 2026, April, supposedly some big things are happening. But as Edgar Cayce predicted, we're going into a highly spiritual era right now of empowerment, where we will know our powers, our personal powers. They always were here. It's the other stories we told ourselves. Are you ready to go into that? We're going to talk more about this. I call it magic. All right, so what do you think? I love your comments, but if you don't have the real truth, I always say what's the truth is that, of course, the government knows. These are not a threat. These are our guys doing something. This is our turf over here. The Americans are paranoid about that. Our government, come on, they shoot down E.T. craft. You think this is any different? No, it's not a threat, so relax. Relax. And so here's what I like to think. Maybe that's something that's going to be used for something really positive. It's possible. It's possible. But again, don't blame Trump. No matter what you think of him, he's not in office. Who's doing this? It's our military. And we know it was said about our military is operating very separately sometimes from what's going on in D.C. Not to even spend any time on that one. Let's do our thing. Let's take this planet to that new amazing level. It's happening. I feel it. Do you feel it? Let's do it together. You can do it today. Every thought, ask yourself why you would have a negative thought that limits you. Why you think you can't succeed. Why you think you can't achieve those goals. Why you're afraid of change. Why when you finally get an opportunity to change your life, you don't do it. You don't get out of anything, my friend. You're going to come back, and you'll have more and more chances. And every time you take the opportunity for change, it takes you to something or better, or better, or better. So don't say, oh, that didn't, well, I didn't get the house that I wanted. I didn't get the relationship I wanted. Say, oh, no, no, because there's something more amazing for you that's right, just right for you. So bless that and say, wow, there's something better for me. Yay. And because you're open to it, the universe sends it to you, and better. But get those negative thoughts out that you don't deserve it, or you can't make money, or you can't be healthy. Experience what you're going through. Learn from it. And go into gratitude. That's our new world. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Hey, Digital Explorers, come on over. Down in the description, digitalexplorers.net, free webinar, Why Do People Fail Online? It's the most lucrative industry on the planet. Yet people, they're not treating it like a business, and they're not doing things they love. Let's go into passion and a positive impact on this planet. You can do it. I'll be there to help you every step of the way. See you in the next video. Namaste.